Hey, Shalom family. I just want to bring to you a video by this pastor, GRC Media, and the title of his video is Jesus' Crucifixion Was Predicted in a Book They Told You to Ignore. Okay, so I'm just gonna play what he has to say, and then I'll prove to you. Actually, I'll just show that he's just in error as far as his interpretation of what the book of wisdom is actually saying. So here we go.
Let me read it to you. Directly from my 1685 King James Bible. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 12 through 20. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressionings of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
Okay, I just stopped there, okay? Because I just responded to what he was saying, and one of the reasons I'm bringing this video is due to the fact I truly believe he might remove my posting, okay? So I responded by saying, this is my response. Let me enlarge my response so it can be read easily. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so my response is that I said to him, GRC Media, you are twisting what was written in the Wisdom of Solomon 2:12 through 20. This has nothing to do with JC. The wicked were the ones speaking against the righteous for upholding the law and opposing their wickedness. So in essence, they are plotting to destroy the righteous, and guess what? This is still happening today. You more than anyone else should understand the importance of context, but you chose to lead the masses astray. Let's look at chapter 1 to chapter 2, verses 1 through 20, and see exactly what it's saying. Wisdom of Solomon 1. It says, love righteousness, you rulers of the earth. Think of Yah with uprightness. I'm going to replace Lord with Yah. Okay? And seek him with sincerity of heart, because he is found by those who do not put him to the test, and manifest himself to those who do not distrust him. For perverse thoughts separate men from the Most High, and when his power is tested, it convicts the foolish. Because wisdom will not enter a deceitful soul, nor dwell in a body enslaved to sin. For a holy and disciplined spirit will flee from deceit, and will rise and depart from foolish thoughts. I will be ashamed at the approach of unrighteousness. For wisdom is a kindly spirit, and will not free a blasphemer from the guilt of his words, because thy power is witness of his inmost feelings, and a true observer of his heart, and a hearer of his tongue. So I could read the entire thing, but if you understand the flow already, let's skip down a bit. It has nothing to do with JC so far, or in no instance. So it's talking about the righteous as opposed to the wicked. And our wisdom will dwell with the righteous, and the righteous will flee unrighteousness, but the wicked will not. So if we move down a bit further, it says, because we really want to get into chapter 2. So it says, let me read the latter part of chapter 1. But unrighteous men by their words and deeds summon death. Considering him a friend, they pine away. And they made a covenant with him who is talking about death. Death, that's what we call personification. Death is now likened unto a human being, because they are fit to belong to his party, death's party. So let's go to Wisdom of Solomon 2. For they reason unsoundly, for they reason unsoundly, saying to themselves, short and sorrowful is our life. That's the wicked. And there is no remedy when a man comes to his end. And no one has been known to return from Hades. Because we were born by mere chance, and thereafter we shall be as though we had never been. Because the breath in our nostril is smoke, and reason is a spark kindled by the beating of our hearts. When it is extinguished, this is what the wicked is saying. When it is extinguished, the body will turn to ashes, and the spirit will dissolve like empty air. Our name will be forgotten in time, and no one will remember our works. Our life will pass away like the traces of a cloud, and be scattered like mist that is chased by the rays of the sun and overcome by its heat. For our allotted time is the passing of a shadow, and there is no return from our death, because it is sealed and no one turns back. So here's what the wicked, they're assessing their lives, okay? And they're gonna make a final commentary of what they need to do before their wicked life is over. They say, come, in verse 6, they say, come, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that exist, and make use of the creation to full as in youth. Let us take our fill of costly wine and perfumes, and let no flower of spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they wither. Let none of us fail to share in our revelry. That's the wicked. Everywhere, let us leave signs of enjoyment, because this is our portion and this is our lot. Let us oppress the righteous poor man. Let us not spare the widow, nor regard the gray hairs of the aged. But let our might be our law of right. For what is weak proves itself to be useless. Need I say more? Well, let's read on. Verse 12. Let us lie in wait for the righteous man. So that's where he took it from. He started at 2 and read from 12 to 20. So the wicked is still speaking all along, if you follow the context. So verse 12 says, no, the iconic verses which he referred to, let us lie in wait for the righteous man, because he is inconvenient to us and opposes our actions. He reproaches us for our sins against the law, and accuses us of sins against our training. He professes to have knowledge of Yah, and calls himself the child of Yah. He became to us as a reproof of our thoughts. The very sight of him is a burden to us. This is happening today. The righteous versus the wicked. Okay? So I say he became reading over verse 14, it says, he became to us a reproof of our thoughts. The very sight of him is a burden to us, because his manner of life is unlike that of others, and his ways are strange. That's how they see the righteous. Strange. I experienced this. We experienced this. So the wicked is saying again, we are considered by him as something base, and he avoids our ways as unclean. He calls the last end of the righteous happy, and boasts that Al is his father. When I say Al, I'm using the singular form of the Most High, Yah, because God is not a name. God is like a title. Okay? Verse 17 says, let us see if his words are true, and let us test what will happen at the end of his life. For if the righteous man is our son, he will help him. We are sons and daughters of the Most High Yah. As a matter of fact, Exodus 4 22 says Israel is his son. He's talking about the plural, the nation of Israel. So verse 18 reads again, for if the righteous man is Allah's son, he will help him. I will deliver him from the hands of his adversaries. Let us test him with insult and torture, that we may find out how gentle he is, and make trial of his forbearance. Let us condemn him to a shameful death, for according to what he says, he will be protected. Need I say more? I rest my case. This has nothing to do with JC. But this, unfortunately, when we have individuals like these with a platform and can easily twist the word of the Messiah, and then we have the sheeples following along and supporting without even reading for themselves or questioning anything. You got people saying, look at the commentaries, okay? Thank you for keeping this knowledge to yourself, la da da da. Just finished Jubilees, and all these different commentaries. No one opposes the lies, but I was the only one. But so be it. All praises to the Most High Yah. Shalom, shalom.